The Dutch defense, explained. 6 games, every move explained. Let's begin. One move against e4 that refuses to play it safe. This is the Dutch defense, what it does, what it costs you, and how to come out of the opening alive. White plays d4, taking the center and covering e5. Almost every reply lets white keep that grip. Most of us answer d5. Solid, but symmetrical, and white moved first, so white stays a step ahead the whole game. The Dutch defense. Pawn to f5. It defends nothing. It attacks, and it takes the e4 square away from white. This is the whole argument. White wants a pawn on e4 and a big center. Black says no, and grabs space on the kingside instead. Now the honest part. Moving the f-pawn opens this diagonal straight at your own king. Respect it, and the Dutch is a fine opening. Ignore it and you get mated in 10 moves. White's soundest answer is g3, heading for a fianchetto. No tricks, just a good bishop on a long diagonal. Black's most useful move in the whole opening, knight to f6. It guards e4 a second time, and it develops. Play it early. Bishop to g2, staring down at black's queenside. Black plays e6, opening a path for the dark-squared bishop. Knight f3, bishop e7. Nothing clever here, and that is the point, get your pieces out before you go looking for a plan. Both sides castle. Tucking the king away from that open diagonal is the single most important thing black does in this opening. White claims more space with c4. Black replies d6, preparing to push e5, because a Dutch player who never plays e5 is just sitting there waiting to be squashed. So, f5 takes e4, the knight guards it again, you castle fast, and you aim for e5. Now let's look at the 3 ways to set it up. The Dutch isn't one opening, it's 3. Here is each setup, what it's trying to do, and which one to learn first. System 1, the Leningrad. Black copies white and fianchettos 2, pawn to g6, bishop heading for g7. Bishop to g7 and castle. That bishop now looks along the whole board, and it doubles as a bodyguard for your king. d6 sets up the big idea, break with e5, open the center, and let that bishop loose. Play the Leningrad if you like attacking chess and don't mind sharp positions. It's the most fun of the 3, and the riskiest. System 2, the Stonewall. Same start, but now e6, and black is about to build something very solid. There it is, pawns on c6, d5, e6 and f5. A wall. White will struggle to open a single line against it. The bishop comes to d6, pointing straight at white's king. The wall holds the center while black attacks on the other side. The catch, all those pawns sit on light squares, so your light-squared bishop is stuck behind them. Trade it off when you get the chance. System 3, the classical. The bishop goes to the modest square e7. No wall, no fianchetto, just straightforward development. Castle, play d6, aim for e5. If you're new to the Dutch, learn this one first, it has the fewest ways to go badly wrong. Leningrad to attack, Stonewall to grind, classical to keep it simple. Learn one properly before you even look at the others. You know the setup. But what do you actually do on move 12? The Dutch has 2 plans, and which one you get depends on the setup you chose. Here's the classical again. You've castled, you've played d6, and now you need a plan. It's always the same one, break with e5. First the queen steps to e8. An odd-looking square, but it adds a defender to e5, and it clears the way for the rook. And there it is. e5, striking at the center. Suddenly the bishop on e7 and the rook on f8 have open lines to work with. Pawns come off and black's position opens up. Compare that to sitting still and shuffling. This is what the whole opening was for. The stone wall is different. You can't break in the center, your own wall is in the way. So you go for the king instead. Queen to e7, castle. No rush. In a locked position you have time to bring everyone before anything happens. Now the star of the stone wall, knight to e4. Look at it, no pawn can ever chase it away, because black's own f5 pawn defends it. And the move that wins club games, rook to f6, ready to swing across to h6. Your rook joins the attack without opening a file. Rook h6. Now count the attackers pointing at white's king, rook, queen, bishop, knight. That's the Stonewall's whole idea in one picture. Classical and Leningrad, break with e5. Stonewall, knight to e4, rook to f6, and go hunting. Know your plan before you sit down. Two things go wrong in the Dutch more than everything else put together. Learn these and you'll survive the opening. The Staunton Gambit. White throws a pawn at you on move 2, to rip the position open before you've developed anything. Take it and white comes fast, knight c3, bishop g5, pinning the knight that guards everything. This is where beginners panic. Don't. Give the pawn back and finish developing. An extra pawn is worth nothing if it costs you the game. Now the mistake almost everyone makes. White plays bishop g5. It looks annoying, so black decides to chase it away. h6, then g5, hunting the bishop with pawns. It works, the bishop is running out of squares. But look at what black has done to his own king. f4 traps the bishop, and black is delighted. White doesn't even rescue it, he plays e3, opening a line for the queen. Black grabs more space with h5. The game is already over. Chasing pieces with the pawns in front of your own king is how the Dutch kills you. Next chapter, you'll see exactly how this position ends. It took 8 moves. Give the gambit pawn back, and never chase a bishop with the pawns guarding your own king. That's most Dutch disasters gone. New York, 1896. Black spends the whole game chasing one bishop, and walks straight into the prettiest mate in the Dutch defense. Delmar plays the Dutch, then starts hunting white's bishop with his pawns. He keeps chasing. Pawn f4 looks like it finally traps the bishop. But e3 quietly opens the queen's diagonal. Black misses it and pushes again. Bishop d3 takes aim at g6. Delmar guards it with his rook. Too late. Queen takes h5, check. The rook has to capture. Bishop g6. Checkmate. Black's king never even moved. 5 greedy pawn moves, 1 queen sacrifice, mate in 8. White is about to sacrifice his queen, then force the enemy king to walk across the entire board to its doom. London, 1912. The greatest king hunt ever played. Against Sir George Thomas, the game opens quietly with a Dutch defense. Nothing hints at the madness to come. Bishops trade, pawns trade. Black plans to develop calmly and castle to safety. But white's pieces are quietly taking aim. Knight to e5, bishop to d3, everything pointing at one square, h7. Queen to h5. Black defends, and now comes one of the most famous moves ever played on a chessboard. Queen takes h7. A complete queen sacrifice, right in front of the king. The king must capture. And now, the hunt begins. Knight to f6, double check. Retreating to the corner allows instant mate, so the king must step forward. He will never go back. The knights and pawns give chase. Check. Check. The king is dragged further and further up the board. Deeper and deeper into enemy territory. The king that started on g8 now stands on g1, trapped inside white's own position. And the quiet killer, white simply steps his king aside, discovering check from the rook on a1. Checkmate. Mated on white's back rank. A queen sacrifice, 7 forced king moves, and mate delivered by the quietest move on the board. London, 1912. Never forgotten. That's all of them. Which one was your favorite? Tell me in the comments, and subscribe for daily chess.